Hello everyone, for today's videos I'm going to show you my practice exercise on forward and reverse of our motor. So here all we need to do is just to follow the assessment criteria. So first things first, we need to prepare and select our electrical components that we are going to use. Afterwards, we also need to prepare our multi-tester and of course we need to test it using our continuity test. Okay, so as per our schematic diagram, we need circuit breaker, two magnetic contactors, we need the overload relay, and then we also need a stop button, forward button, reverse button, and we also need lamps for the forward, reverse, and trip. Okay, so we need a circuit breaker, two magnetic contactors, thermal overload relay, multi-tester. Then we also need the start buttons for our forward and reverse, and we also need a stop button, and then the lamps for the forward and reverse, and we also need the lamp for our trip. Okay, so as per the objectives, we need to check our multi-tester. So in order to check, just choose the wire and check using the continuity test, and you can see that the continuity it's true, so it's good. So we have already tested, and the next thing is we need to follow the a next instruction, which is to uh, ensure that the circuit breaker is in off position, and normally it is in off position, and then we need to construct the motor power circuit based on the schematic wiring diagram, and we also need to put the motor in a Y configuration. Okay, so this is our power circuit. So our source going to circuit breaker, going to our magnetic contactors, and going to our overload relay, and then afterwards is going to our motor. Going to line up first. So by the way, this will be our magnetic contactor number 1, and this will be our magnetic contactor number 2. Okay, and as per our schematic diagram, so from here 2 will go to here, line 1, so just the same. But here our terminal 1 will go to the second line of our thermal overload relay. So it means that from here it will go uh, to this terminal number terminal number 4 3, I mean, yes, terminal number 3, which is line 2. Okay, then afterwards I'll choose this yellow color. Here, here, then it will just be the same. Okay, but the thing is, from magnetic contactor number 2 it will go to terminal number 1. So from here it will go here, but this one will just stay here, so that we will create a reverse motion later on. Afterwards, I'm going to use color blue for the third line here. Okay. And as per the instruction, we need to set up the motor on a Y configuration. So Y configuration, all you need to do is to connect this U2, V2, W2. Okay. So we have already successfully followed this diagram for our uh, power circuit. So the next thing we need to do is to construct the forward control circuit according to our schematic diagram. And afterwards, we need to conduct a short circuit test. No? So terminal 2, terminal 4 with the armature pressed, and then terminal 4 and terminal 6, same also with armature pressed on our magnetic contactor. So we need to take note that the reading should not be below 1 ohm using the ohmmeter function of our multi-tester. Okay, so we are already finished on this one. Next thing we need to follow. So this is line 1. This is line 1. So after line 1, it will go to this overload relay 9596. So I'm going to use a different color. So line 1 on terminal 2. Then it will go to overload relay, which is 9 which is 95 and 96. So 95, 96. After 95, 96, it will go to this stop button. Okay, so it will go to this stop button. After the stop button, it will go to this forward button. So this is our forward, this is our reverse. So put this on the forward button. Then after that is it's going to our magnetic contactor number 2, 21 and 22. So this is our magnetic contactor number 1. This is magnetic contactor number 2. So we need to connect it on the magnetic contactor number 2, 21 and 22 slot. So here's 21 and here's 22. After that, we need to go to magnetic contactor number 1 and connect it to A2, A1 and go back to line 2 or terminal 4. So here, A2, A1 and going back to our line 2, specifically on our terminal 4. Okay. So we are done on this part. So next thing we need to set up is this. So from the stop button, we will go to magnetic contactor number 1, 13, 14, and then go to the afterwards of the forward button. Okay. So from here to the stop button, we'll go to the 13, 14 of magnetic contactor number 1. 13, 14, this one, 13, 14 of M1, and then going to the forward button after the forward button. So this one. Okay. Double check, and I think we have already followed it correctly. And as per the objectives, we need to start and test it in forward. But first things first, we need to check the circuit breaker. Terminal 2 and terminal 4, terminal 4 and terminal 6. So it should be above 1 ohm. Okay. So this is terminal 2 connected here. They're connected to terminal 4, and then we need to use the ohmmeter function on our uh, multi-tester, and as what you can see, it is 2.8 ohms, so it's above 1 ohm, so which is good. And we need to press the armature of our magnetic contactor if there are any changes, and as what you can see, it's stable, it's just the same 2.8 ohms, so it's good. And afterwards is we need to do also the same thing on terminal 4 and terminal 6. Okay, so as what you can see, still the same 2.8 ohms, and then press the magnetic contactor if there's any changes, and as what you can see, it's just the same, which is good. And we need to disconnect the wires. We have already done our ohmmeter testing. Okay, so as per the objectives, we need to start it in a forward, of course, because we've done the forward circuit. So turn on the circuit breaker. Now it's on. And let's click the start button for the forward and it should run. Afterwards, we will going to stop. Okay. As what you observe, we have successfully run our motor on a forward motion. So the next step that we need to do is to uh, construct the reverse control circuit. So all we need to do is just the same as before. So we need to follow the circuit diagram for our reverse circuit. And then do the same thing. We need to test terminal 2 and 4, 4 and 6, and then it should be more than 1 ohm. And then we need to start and test in reverse. Okay, so schematic diagram we have here. So from the stop, going to our reverse button. So I'm going to use a different color, this one. So from the stop, going to our reverse button, and then afterwards, going to our 2122 magnetic contactor number 1. So 2122 magnetic contactor number 1, 21 and 22. So 21 and 22. After that is A2 and A1 of our magnetic contactor number 2. So magnetic contactor number 2, this one. So A2 and A1. After A2 and A1, it will go to the line 2 or terminal 4. Okay, here. Then afterwards, we need to make also a circuit. So from the stop button, 1314 magnetic contactor number 2. So from here, then 1314 of our magnetic contactor number 2. So here, 1314 magnetic contactor number 2, going to the reverse button after the reverse button. So here. Okay. So we have already created our reverse control circuit. So the next thing is to check for short circuit test using the ohmmeter function. So going to connect it here. And by the way, make sure that it is off. So make sure when doing this, it is an off. Okay. Then afterwards, put it on ohmmeter function. And then you can see it is in 2.8 ohms. So try to click also the magnetic contactor. The reading should be the same. Then after terminal 2 and 4, so try also 4 and 6. 4 and 6. 4 and 6. So same reading. So try to click also the magnetic contactor. It should be the same reading. Then afterwards, you can disconnect, and we can try to um, start and test our motor in reverse. Okay, so make sure to switch on the circuit breaker, and then this reverse button, I will press then one, and it should the motor should turn in reverse. Okay, then afterwards we will stop. Okay, we have already successfully run our motor in reverse. So the next thing we need to do is to uh, construct our indicating lamp circuit connection. So same as before, we need to follow our circuit diagram, and then we need to do also short circuit test. Then afterwards, we need to start the motor in forward and reverse connection with the lamps. Okay, so from line 1, terminal 2, so we need to make a wire connection going to our 53 and 54 of magnetic contactor number 1. So I'm going to use a different color of wire. So from here, line 1, terminal 2. So it will go to 5354 M1. So 5354. So this one, 5354. And then it will go to our forward lamp, forward indicating lamp. And afterwards, it will go to our line 2 or terminal 4. Okay, here. Same also. So from line 1, terminal 2, so 5354 of M2. So from here, 5354 of M2. So 5354 of M2, and then it will go here on reverse, reverse indicating lamp. And afterwards, it will go back here on our line 2. Then next is 9798. From here, 9798 of our thermal overload relay. Then afterwards, it will go here, and it will go back here on our line 2. So same thing, we need to conduct a short circuit test. So always make sure from time to time that when doing the circuit, your circuit breaker is switched off. Okay. So as what you can see, we have a reading of 2.8 ohms, which is good. And try to click also again this magnetic contactor just to be sure that we have the same reading and it's not less than 1 ohm. Then after terminal 2 and 4, you need to do terminal 4 and 6. So same reading, it is more than 1 ohm. So try to click this magnetic contactor. Okay, so it is good. So let's proceed to the next step, which is uh, we need to start the motor in forward and reverse connection with indicator lamps. So once that we have run it in forward, the forward indicating lamp should light up. And if we uh, started it in reverse motion, so this reverse indicating lamp should light up as well. And then if it is in trip position, it should indicate here a yellow or trip indication on our lamp. Let's start. So first thing is I'm going to check for the forward. So I'm going to click forward button, make sure to switch on your breaker, and then click start for the forward motion. Okay, so this indicating lamp for forward is indicating properly. It's showing that it's running in forward motion. So the next thing is I'm going to try also in a trip position. So in a trip position, what we are going to do is that we are going to run the motor and then click this red button on our thermal overload relay. And after that, the motor should be tripped and it should indicate here yellow color, which means that the motor is tripped. Okay, so I'm going to start again. Click this one and it should be trip. And as what you can see, this is indicated by our yellow light on our trip indicating lamp. So in order to reset, just click this blue button or thermal overload relay. This blue button. Okay, so the trip is now gone. We can try to check also on our reverse. So I am going to start to run the motor in a reverse motion, and then this reverse indicating lamp should indicate. It should light up. Okay, so going to click. So it's working fine. So the next thing is I'm going to do the same. Going to check for the trip indication. So it is good. It's indicating trip. So I'm going to reset. Now it's gone. So I'm going to make sure that both will run in both position. Okay. So we have already followed all these steps, and I think that's it. Thank you for watching.
I know Bo is not in her. She's a